going on, everyone? Kyrie Irving to the Los Angeles Lakers has been quite the roller coaster ride, with updates coming pretty much regularly. And I've been trying to keep you all in the loop as much as possible. I even did a video earlier today. I will link that video down in the description below about the Lakers and the update that was recently reported. There was information that essentially the framework for the trade was in place. It would be Russell Westbrook in exchange for Kyrie Irving, but the Nets and the Lakers are just trying to figure out all the little, other components, the ins and outs, like draft picks. They don't want to take on Joe Harris. They want Seth Curry, the Lakers that is, and the Brooklyn Nets want to move off of Joe Harris because he is 2 years, $18 million. And the whole point from both sides in perspective is they want the flexibility of future cap space. That's why Brooklyn wants to take on Westbrook. All of those details more in depth, again, linked down in the description below. But this updates just keep funneling in. It just keeps going on this roller coaster ride. And now we have a Woj bomb in regards to an update in the Kyrie Irving saga or drama or whatever you want to call it. Woj just announced some new details and information about this trade, and I'm going to read it to you so that way there's full context and clarity. So, ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reports that there isn't much momentum towards a trade for either star, talking about Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. So far, right now, there's no traction really on deals with either Irving or Kevin Durant, Wojnarowski said on Sunday's episode of SportsCenter. They'll develop over time. He went on to continue. Wojnarowski states that the market for both Durant and Irving are slow moving. However, he noted that the key difference between the situations is that Irving is essentially on an expiring contract, so there's only limited number of teams who just need to improve their talent and can take some risks by adding him. And then lastly, both of these processes could play out, and they don't have to trade either. They're both under contract. They can bring them back to start the season. I don't think that's the ideal scenario for Brooklyn. I think it's try to find a way to get the biggest haul of assets they can. But again, there's a lot of time left in this offseason and a lot more talks that are coming. Now, right off the bat, with the Kevin Durant thing, and then we'll jump into the Kyrie Irving. Kevin Durant thing makes a ton of sense. They're going to take their time when it comes to KD. And that's been reported pretty much from the get-go. They want the best assets in return as possible for Kevin Durant. And they're smart for waiting because, look at like the Rudy Gobert trade, things like that. They just keep up in the ante. So it is the best interest for Brooklyn to wait on Kevin Durant because you see the return for Rudy. Imagine what we're going to get for Kevin Durant. That's kind of the logic. That's kind of the thinking. That's what they are kind of leaning towards. And obviously, Kevin Durant has his preferred destinations. But when it comes to Kevin Durant, there is definitely going to be a bidding war. But the real issue comes for Kyrie Irving because there's such a limited market. And reports state that nobody but the Lakers want Kyrie Irving. Although this isn't huge news because there is, talks that they may wait to move Kevin Durant before they make the trade for Kyrie. I don't think at all, and this is just my opinion, I don't have any inside information or anything, I don't think at all Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant are going to start the season with the Brooklyn Nets because it is a real possibility that neither of them would even play. Kyrie Irving sat out pretty much an entire season, lost $17 million and a shoe deal because he didn't want to play. You think he's not going to sit out for a couple weeks until you figure out how to trade me? Now, they don't need to fully rush. They have until essentially the offseason's over at like the end of September. So they have, a couple months to essentially get this deal done. I imagine that the Brooklyn Nets, which has been reported to, that they want it sooner rather than later. And that's kind of what Woj is saying as well. They don't want to prolong it too long, but they don't want to just rush into taking whatever, right? And if this is true, it makes sense given the previous report, which again, linked down in the description below, that they want to, so they're negotiating with the Lakers. Lakers are trying to find other ways to kind of take on Harris and things like that. They're trying to, maybe reroute him for another asset. They're just trying to see like, what can we come up with? Do we only have a straight up trade or do we have other things? Because the Lakers don't want to take on Joe Harris. Now, I don't think that that's going to be the deal breaker. I don't think that they're going to look at that and go, oh, you know what? Forget it. We don't want Kyrie. I don't think that's going to happen. The other thing is, too, is Kyrie and his camp have done everything to make it clear we are signing with the Lakers after this season if you don't trade me. So get what you can for me or lose me for nothing. Because I'm going to go sign with the Lakers next year, which the Lakers would have the cap space to sign Kyrie and to keep LeBron. So the Lakers are in a position where they don't need to rush either because they know sooner or later Kyrie Irving is coming to the Lakers. Now, obviously the Lakers want him this season. If they could get him instead of playing out this season with Russell Westbrook, they will. And I do think that Kyrie Irving is going to start the season with the Lakers. I think that Brooklyn just wants to explore all their options. They don't want to rush into this and, get swiped at, and have like no assets, no nothing. And you're just like, I just traded away my 2 stars and I basically got nothing. They're just biding their time and trying to do what they can. We've seen the fake reports about the Mavericks and the Sixers. All of a sudden, they come out of the woodworks and they're interested in Kyrie, and that's all smokescreens. That's a report from the Brooklyn Nets because they're trying to gain leverage. They're trying to get what they can. They know people don't follow all of the ins and outs with this stuff. Now, this is why these videos usually do successful because, people want to know and they want somebody like me to just put it all together for you. And so they know, like, we put this out there, people are going to think, oh, look, there's all these other trades, there's all these other offers, not realizing that the Dallas Mavericks themselves said, no way we're taking Kyrie Irving. And the Sixers, Daryl Morey would never do that. And James Harden, you will lose James Harden if you sign Kyrie Irving. The whole reason Harden left was because of Kyrie Irving. So that's out of the question. The only real deal for Kyrie Irving at this time is the Lakers. And no other team, which Woj even reports, there's a small pool of teams that would even, be a possibility for Kyrie Irving. That doesn't mean that those teams want Kyrie. That doesn't mean those teams would trade for Kyrie. But there's already, because he's an expiring contract, you're looking at like the Kawhi Leonard Toronto thing where it's like, is he enough to put us over the top to win a championship? And if so, then you give up your assets to do that. But you don't want to give up too many assets because Kyrie Irving's going to leave. They're stuck. The Brooklyn Nets are bound to the Lakers for a Kyrie Irving trade. Again, it's a matter of when, not if. This will happen sooner or later. I imagine it would happen sooner. I think timeline-wise, I wouldn't be surprised if tomorrow we get the deal done. But realistically, I've been saying this for a while. If you watch some of my videos, it could happen at any moment, right? I mean, as you're watching this video, they could drop, Woj could drop another Woj bomb, and now you know about it. But in reality, chances are it'll be about a week or so. I imagine this coming week, we will likely maybe see a trade. We'll finally get that, the alert, and I'll keep you guys updated along the way as always. But that being said, as always, again, let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. Pass the question on to you. What do you think? What do you think about this information? Do you think it's just, it's just more nonsense? It's just the roller coaster ride. We know it's going to happen. Just get it over with. That's kind of where I'm at this point. Like you can trade Kyrie Irving and still wait for Kevin Durant. Like Kevin Durant has no impact. You're going to do the same thing regardless. It's not like somebody's going to trade for Kevin Durant and all of a sudden they're going to be like, oh my, like we want Kyrie Irving too. Like, no, like most teams that are going to trade for Kevin Durant aren't going to want Kyrie. There's not going to be some new package that comes out of the woodworks for Kyrie Irving. If there was even anything out there, it would have already been reported. People would have talked about. All the reports are nobody wants Kyrie Irving except for the Lakers. And the only reason the Lakers want Kyrie Irving is because of LeBron James. If it wasn't for LeBron, nobody would probably want Kyrie Irving, especially to trade for it. If they were to sign him for a taxpayer mid-level or something, that's completely different. There'd probably be a lot of teams that want to do that. But to actually trade assets for a guy that you have no idea if he's even going to play, let alone, stay for the long haul, teams aren't signing up for that. Teams don't want that headache. The Lakers will because, one, they need the relevancy, and two, they need, the belief is that, LeBron can get him in check. LeBron can keep him, engaged, involved, invested. And I do think Kyrie, we're going to see the best Kyrie we've seen in a long time because I think he's going to be very motivated. But that's my opinion. I'd love to hear yours again down in the comment section below. That being said, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell notification. Stay up to date with all things sports. Join this wonderful community and all of our discussions. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.